Delta and Amex just quietly dropped some of the biggest welcome bonuses they've ever offered, and most people have no idea that those record offers even existed until they were already gone. If you've been thinking about a Delta credit card and you just now are looking into it, you missed a window that won't come back for a while. But here's what nobody is telling you: the current offers are still worth it for the right person. Today, I'm breaking down all three Delta Amex cards with real current numbers, who each card is actually built for, and whether any of them make sense for your wallet right now. Before we get into the numbers, you need to understand how Delta cards work differently from flexible travel credit cards like the Chase Sapphire or the Capital One Venture. Those cards earn points you can transfer to multiple airlines and hotels. Delta Amex cards earn SkyMiles, and SkyMiles only work on Delta. That's not a deal breaker, but it means these cards are built for one specific person, someone who already flies Delta regularly or is based out of a Delta hub like Atlanta, Detroit, Minneapolis, or Salt Lake City. So let's talk about what just happened with the welcome bonuses. Here's the context that you need. From June through July 15th, 2026, Delta and Amex ran some of the highest welcome bonuses in the history of these cards. We're talking up to 125,000 miles on the reserve card alone. Those offers are now gone. The Delta Gold is currently offering as high as 80,000 miles after $2,000 spend in the first 6 months. The Platinum is as high as 90,000 miles after the first 3,000 spend. The Reserve is as high as 100,000 miles after the first 5,000 spend. Those are still solid offers, just not the record breaking ones that were available a month ago. If you saw those elevated offers and waited, that's a lesson in not sleeping on limited time windows. But let's look at what's actually on the table now. First, the Delta SkyMiles Gold. This is the entry point and the easiest card in the lineup to justify. The current offer is as high as 80,000 miles after spending 2,000 in the first 6 months. At roughly 1.2 cents per mile in value, that's worth around $960 in Delta airfare. The annual fee is $0 in the first year, then $150 after that. So you're getting a free trial year to decide if it's worth keeping. Now it's time for the core perks: free first check bag for you and up to 8 companions on the same reservation, priority boarding, 20% back on in flight purchases as a statement credit, and 2x miles on Delta purchases and at US restaurants and supermarkets. Here's the math that most people don't run on the check bag perk. Delta charges $35 per bag each way. A round trip saves you around $70 per bag. If you travel with one other person twice a year, that's $280 in savings alone. Almost double the annual fee covered from that one benefit before you earn a single mile. There's also one thing that almost nobody talks about with this card. After spending $10,000 in a calendar year, you get a $200 Delta flight credit. That's a meaningful return for heavier spenders. The bottom line on the Delta Gold is it's the best entry point if you fly Delta a few times a year and you want to stop paying for check bags without committing to a big annual fee. Second, the Delta Platinum. This is the mid tier card, and honestly, this is the one that most serious Delta flyers should be looking at. The current offer is as high as 90,000 miles after spending 3,000 in the first 6 months, worth roughly $1,080 in Delta airfare at current valuation. The annual fee is $350, and here's where you need to do the math honestly. You earn 3x miles on Delta purchases and at hotels, 2x at restaurants and US supermarkets, and 1x on everything else. Same free check bag and priority boarding as gold, but adds two things that a gold doesn't have. First, a companion certificate every year. Once per card anniversary, you can bring someone with you on a domestic round trip for just taxes and fees, usually around $30 to $80. If you use that on a flight that would have cost $300 to $400 for a second ticket, that one use nearly covers the annual fee gap between the gold and platinum by itself. Second, a $2,500 MQD head start each year toward the Delta Medallion stylus, plus one MQD earned for per $20 in card purchases. So if you're chasing the Delta Elite status, this card is working for you even when you're not at an airport. So the bottom line for Delta Platinum, it's the right card for you if you fly Delta at least 4 to 6 times per year and will actually use that companion cert. If you won't use it, the gold is probably enough. And last but not least, the Delta Reserve, the most expensive, the most premium, and the most misunderstood card in this lineup. Current offer is 100,000 miles after spending 5,000 in the first 6 months. That's $5,000 spend requirement, which is higher than the other two, worth knowing before you apply. The annual fee is $650. That's real money, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Here's what you get at this level though: Everything from the gold and platinum, plus the access to the Delta Sky Club lounges when flying Delta. Amex Centurion Lounge access when you book your Delta ticket on the card, global entry or TSA pre-check credit, and upgrade priority above general customers, but behind Medallion members. The reserve also earns MQDs at 1 per $10 in purchases, double the rate of the platinum card. If you're actively chasing Medallion status, that difference compounds fast over a full year of spend. The lounge access is where this card either justifies itself or it doesn't. A Delta Sky Club Day Pass costs $50 per visit. If you use the lounge 13 times in a year, that's $650. The entire annual fee covered from that one perk alone. There's also a family rule worth knowing. All personal Delta Amex cards share one welcome offer eligibility pool. If you've had the reserve before, you're not eligible for the gold or the platinum welcome offer. And if you open the Delta Blue card first, the entry level no fee version, you spent your family rule eligibility on the smallest bonus in this lineup. That's a trap most people walk into without realizing. Bottom line on Delta Reserve: it only makes sense if you fly Delta constantly, use airport lounges regularly, and are serious about medallion status. If you're a casual Delta flyer, that fee will eat you alive. If this breakdown is something you didn't know before, tap the like button and subscribe. I drop one of these every week and it's completely free. Now let's talk about which one actually makes sense for you. So before I give you guys the breakdown, the most important thing to know about the Delta Amex cards is the family rule. You can only earn a welcome bonus on one personal Delta Amex at a time. Open the wrong first card and you lock yourself out of the bigger bonuses on the better cards. The right order if you're starting fresh is the Delta Gold first, use it for a year, decide if you fly Delta enough to upgrade, then move to the Platinum or the Reserve when you're ready. Never open the Delta Blue, it's a dead end that wastes your eligibility on the smallest possible bonus. Here's the full breakdown by lifestyle. You fly Delta 2 to 4 times a year and you want to stop paying bag fees, Delta Gold. Free first year, straightforward, easy to evaluate before committing. Fly Delta 4 to 6 times a year and travel with someone else regularly, Delta Platinum. That companion cert is the difference maker. If you're in airports constantly and actively chasing the medallion status and you use lounges, Delta Reserve. The $650 fee is real, but so are the benefits if your life actually looks like that. The elevated bonuses are gone, but the cards are still solid for the right person. SkyMiles aren't the most flexible points out there, but if Delta is your airline and you're going to fly them anyway, you might as well get paid to do it. Subscribe, and the credit guy never stops.